We'll get to there really quickly. Okay, so I'm not going to take up every single question to save time. So number 2, that's where we left off on Friday. We said that because these are right angle triangles, we know to do SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so this is how you spell SOHCAHTOA. Don't mix it up. Don't spell it wrong. And then the first thing you do after that, so couple of things. One, make sure you're it's okay. It's gonna come back on. So make sure the first thing is one, your calculator is in degree mode. Second is to label your H, O, and A. So then O and H, that means I'm doing so. So sign that, cross multiply, divide, and you get your answer. Same thing for B. On the bottom right here, notice these are not right angle triangles. So if it's not right angle triangles, that means it's either sine law or cosine law. Right here, I have a pair. I'm given a pair, so that's my hint. It's probably sine law. Okay, I know I'm actually looking for this angle, but because I don't have the opposite side, I can't find it yet. What I can do is do sine law to find angle F. Once I have angle F and angle E, then I can subtract them from 180 to get angle D. So it's an extra step, but you'll get your answer for angle D. And then for this one right here, given two sides and the angle in between, you know that you're supposed to use cosine law. So even though here it says X, remember that if this is angle T, the opposite side is length T. So T start with T, end with T. So T squared plus R squared plus S squared, and then minus 2 RS cosine. Right? So you're responsible for memorizing the formula. Okay. On the back right here, these ones is a combination of sine law, cosine law, and SOHCAHTOA. So these ones. So I'll just set it up really quickly, and then you guys can, and then I'll just share the answer. Okay, so this length right here is 200. Okay, this is not the middle, so it's not 100 here, not 100 here. If it is, it will be way too easy. So since you're given angle B and angle D, I can actually find out what angle A is, this whole angle. So this whole angle, 180 minus 68 minus 37, you get 75 degrees. Okay. Why we need the whole angle is because we have this whole length. So I'm thinking sine law because we have the pair now. So sine law of this pair, and this pair. Alright. So 200 over sine 75 degrees equals D over sine 37 degrees. Okay, cross multiply, divide. So D equals 200 times sine 37 degrees all over sine 75 degrees. Okay. Times 200 divided by sine 75. So that means D is 124.6. Don't round it to 125 yet because that's not your final answer. So I'm going to keep it as 124.6 right here. And then I'm trying to find the height of this triangle. What's another name for the height of the triangle? Altitude. Good job. So I'm trying to find the altitude here. But notice right here, this is a right angle triangle. So right angle triangle, what comes to mind? SOHCAHTOA. Okay, I have this angle, I have this side, I can find out what this length is right here. So from this angle, that means this is my opposite, and this is my hypotenuse. So sine 68 degrees equal opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, because it's so. Okay. So then cross multiply. Since my variable is on the top, that means I'm just multiplying these two numbers. So 124.6 times sine 68 degrees times sine 68, and I get my final answer 115.5. What's the unit? I didn't give units. So let's say this is meters, then this would be meters. Okay. Remember, angles are degrees, length are centimeters, meters, millimeters, kilometers, so forth. Okay, so side lengths are those. Okay, so that's your final answer. This one, similar. So let's see. I'm trying to look for this length right here. So if I know that this is 80, that means I know this is 100 right here. And then I can figure out what I can figure out what this angle is, just this angle. 150, that means this angle up here is 30 degrees. So again, sine law. I have this, and I have this. Okay. My hint, I guess, my little hint of how I know I need to find that angle and do sine law is because I'm given this is 45. So if I want to use sine law, I need to know the opposite angle, which is this right here. So that tells me I have to find that angle somehow. And so in this case, I found it, and so I can do sine law to figure out what this side is. Once I know what this side is, I can use the big triangle. This big triangle right here. All right. Using the angle 50 and the hypotenuse to find my opposite. Okay, so also it's so again, so sine. Okay, so there you go. Solve triangle PQR given these dimensions. So just draw any triangle PQR. Remember, there's no ambiguous case. So so don't worry. So PQR, for example, just make any triangle. And then given P is 11, since you call this angle P, that means this is length P. Since you call this angle Q, that means length Q is right here. And R will be this. Okay, given all three sides, cosine law. Okay, same thing right here. Let's just draw the triangle. Call it X, Y, and Z. Use so since this is how I drew triangle XYZ, angle X is 73 degrees. So 73 right here. X is 8, so X across from that, that's 8. And then Z is 6. So Z across from it is 6. I know it's not to scale because this is longer than this, but that's fine. And then you're looking for this angle right here. Okay? And so, sine law. Okay? And there you go. Okay. Next, from a point 20 meters from the base of the building, the angle of elevation to the top of the building is that. Determine the height of the building. So I can't remember this keyword, angle of elevation. What does that mean? Looking up. Yeah, looking up. What's the other thing called? Angle of depression means looking down. Yeah, so from a point 20 meters from the base of the building. So this is the building with some windows and the door. All right. From the base, so that means at the bottom, on the ground. So this is 20 meters. Okay. Angle of elevation. So looking up. All right, so looking up, angle of elevation, this angle, 72 degrees. And you're looking for the height of the building. So just that. So right angle triangle.
How are you sure it's a right angle triangle?
We'll assume all buildings are yeah. How it's supposed to build. How it's supposed to build.
Tower of Pisa.
And we will say that.
But that was designed to be the right.
Yeah, that was designed. Well, we never know. Maybe maybe it was.
It was designed to be a right angle, but the was just bad.
Yeah, it was just so bad that it leaned it over. Alright, so TOA. Okay. So TOA, because you're looking for so this is opposite, adjacent, that's your angle, so you use tangent. Okay. So I don't know why you have like so much space for this question. For number 5, from the top of a cliff, the angle of depression. Okay, so this is the cliff right here. Okay, that's you on top of the cliff. Okay, don't jump. Okay, the angle of depression to 2 boats is 25 and 40 degrees. So boat number 1, boat number 2. Okay, so angle of depression. Remember, it's from your eyesight. So you have an invisible horizontal line right here. So if let's say this is A and this is B, which angle is the 25? Which angle is the 40? Paul? Good. Right. So remember, is the angle of depression is from your horizontal line to the boat. So this is the smaller angle. And then this right here is the bigger angle. So it's the 40. Okay. And then you're trying to look for that the boats are 125 meters apart. Determine the height of the cliff. Okay, so notice this diagram right here. Doesn't it look very similar to this one right here? Yeah, it's just exact same. See, this is the cliff. That's boat A, boat B, and then you just need that angle. You know how far apart they are. So, how do I find just this angle? What is just this angle? Before that, as I was saying, since I'm given this is 125, I know that I probably want to have this angle right here. How do I know how much that is? Elizabeth?
40 minus 25.
Yeah, so this is 15 right here. So even though the question that never gave you that 15 degrees, that's what you get from those 2 pieces of information. That angle right there is 15 degrees. Okay, and what's the angle here? What's the angle there for B? What's this angle? Not 45. This angle right here, angle B. Look for a pattern. Yeah. It is 25. This Z pattern right here. Okay. So just like what I said earlier in the chapter, your angle of depression is the same as your angle of elevation on the ground. Right? So those 2 angles are the same. So in that case, I know what this angle is then. So 180 minus 15 minus 25, you get that this big angle right here for angle A is 140. So now this is exactly like the previous question. I have this pair, 15 and a 125. And I have this 140 that I could use to find this. Okay. Once I have this, I can use the 25, this, to find X from SOHCAHTOA. So it's like exactly the same as the number 3. Okay, so I'll just set it up really quickly, and then you guys would be able to find it. Okay, so this would be 125 over sine 40 degrees equals, let's call this A. Length A over sine 140. Okay, I might as well. So sine 140 times 125 divided by sine 40. So, oh, did I make a mistake? So sine 140 degrees times 125 divided by sine 40. Oh, I got that A is 125 meters as well. Okay. So then to find that, it's opposite over hypotenuse. So I'm going to use so. So sine 25 degrees equals opposite, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is what we found. So when you do sine 25 degrees times 125, x equals 52.8 meters. Okay, so the height of the cliff, 52.8 meters. Okay. How many of you got that? Oh, did I make a mistake? You good? Oh, sine 15. Yes, that's where I made a mistake. I thought the number looked weird. Thank you. Yes, so 125 sine 15. Sorry. Okay, and then so 125 times sine 140 divided by sine 15. Thank you, Elizabeth. So A is 310. Three 10.4. 310.4 times sine 25, so 131.2. I'm out of, wait a x equals 131.2 meters. Is that what you got? Still no?
I didn't buy that. Like, I did like two lines.
2 line?
Okay. Like the angle of the question was like
Oh, you did it on 2 separate sides? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you know what? This could be an ambiguous case question. So, I would have had to say something like the 2 boats are on the same side. But, yeah, why I drew it like this is because this is a cliff. So, if you drew the boat on the other side, then that means it's on the other side of the cliff, but then the cliff is in the way. So, that's how I that's why I put the 2 boats on the same side. But if in doubt, you can always ask during the exam. You can put up your hand and say, are the boats on the same side or a different side? But remember, there's no ambiguous case.
Wait, so why don't we ask? Because on the exam, it's always going to not be ambiguous, right?
Yeah, it's not going to be ambiguous. Yeah. So then it's just this. Did you get this answer? Okay, good. That's all that matters. Okay. Page 16, the last page. Determine the area of triangle DEF. Okay, so triangle DEF. DEF. Angle E is 65 degrees. Okay. D is 18 centimeters. and E is 18 centimeters. Okay. So it's actually an isosceles triangle. It's an isosceles. But that doesn't make so looking at this, to find the area, that means I need the base and the height, right? So I need the base and the height of the triangle. So if I need this right here, now look at this diagram and this diagram right here. It's exactly the same. Alright. So that means all I need is the other two angles, and then the work is exactly the same. I have this one angle right here, so I could do sine law to figure out this angle. And then once I have that angle, I can figure out what angle F is. And then so it's going to be exactly the same as how we did this question. All right, we have the three angles, we have one of the length, so we just need to find out what this is. Then we can do base times height divided by 2. Okay. This one, two buildings are 125 meters apart. So I have a short building and a tall building. Yes, they are 90 degrees to the ground. Okay, so there's the door, there's this taller building. Okay, the two buildings are on level ground and they are 125 meters apart from the top of the taller building. The angle of depression to the top and bottom of the shorter building are those two angles. Okay, so again, don't forget you have to draw your horizontal line for angle of depression and cross out the word respectively. Yeah.
That's why I was thinking, how's that 51?
Yeah, so cross out the word respectively, and then just use common sense to think about which angle is the bigger one and which angle is the smaller one.
Respectively, no, because respectively confuses me. That's because respectively means the first one, the top one, is 51 degrees and the bottom one is 36 degrees. That doesn't make sense. The diagram is fine.
Yeah, so this is 36, and then this is 51. So then just like what we did, we can figure out what this angle is. So what is that angle right there?
51 minus 36. 15.
15 degrees. Did you just use a calculator? I'm just teasing you. Determine the height of the taller building and the shorter building. So I need to figure out what this is. I need to figure out what this is. Okay. So that.
Wait, what?
Okay, so I can actually figure out what this angle is. I know what that angle is. So if this whole angle is 51 degrees, then that means that right there is, which is, good job. Yay. I'm just teasing you this morning. Okay.
You can also figure out the height of the taller building and the shorter building. Okay, that one's also 51 because it's parallel to the other one. Then now you can figure out the height of the taller building now because if you use side law, you have one length and you have a pair of distribution.
Or I could use this pair to figure out that, to do sine law, or because this is a 90-degree angle, I could use SOHCAHTOA. So opposite, adjacent. So TOA. Okay. You'll get the same answer. And that's because when you do sine 90 degrees, so it's just one. So we can figure out what that is. And then let's see. for this one right here, I could draw this.
Or you can extend it to the height of that. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense. No, it does make sense. Because then you can subtract that line. Okay, so wait, let me come. You draw a line there, and then you say to this chair.
Candace is thinking out loud. It's fine. Alright, so I know that this is 125. I'm trying to figure.
No, you find that and then subtract it from the height of the taller building, so you're able to find.
Yeah. So I can try to figure out how long this side is. Yes. What is this angle right here?
15 plus 30. Okay, 90 minus 15 plus 35.
It's written right here. Remember your set pattern. 36, right? This is 36
I just noticed.
right here. Alright. So with this set pattern right here, I know that this is 36. I know that this is 125. Then I can figure out what this side is. So again, opposite over adjacent. So TOA. So TOA to figure out what this is. TOA to figure out what this is. So then when I subtract it, I get the height of the shorter building. All right. Elizabeth, did you get the answers for those two?
No, I was confused. Yeah, me too.
You were, oh, yeah. So don't worry about the word respective. Okay.
If like on the exam, will you like say what to round to?
Yes. What were the answers? Do you want me to work it out? It won't take too long. Sorry, it will be fast. Okay, so let's see. Y. Let's solve for the Y. So opposite 1051 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. So Y is 1051 times 125. So tall building is 154.4 meters. So the tall building. Okay. Short building. Let's call this H. Let's call this H right here. So tangent 36 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse. So H equals tangent 36 degrees times 125, 90.8. So then X equals Y minus H, the tall building, minus the H part. That will give you the height of the shorter building. So 154.4 minus 90.8. 154.4 minus that, 63.6 meters. It's the shorter building. And there you go. So for this question, I think the toughest part was to draw the diagram because you aren't given one. But notice how I drew it was like as I was reading each sentence, I was drawing okay, two buildings are 125 meters apart. So that's what I drew first, put that in. And then angle of depression, make sure you draw that dotted line. And then you have your angles. Once you have those angles, then try to figure out what other information you can get out of that. And then once you have that, then your diagram, based on your diagram, you can figure out what to do. Remember in the building questions, since they are 90 degrees, it's like 90% SOHCAHTOA. Okay. So that was the homework. So your final homework for this course, page 17, 18, 19, and 20. These last 4 pages, we take it up tomorrow, and that's it. We finish this whole 20-page review. Okay, so perfect timing. let's do I'll give you guys time to work on this last 4 pages now.